So something interesting has been after Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev's fight is the reaction of the Muslim community. It's very interesting because we've gained these fans from mainly Khabib versus Conor. We gained a lot of Muslim fans in the community, and they're very strict with their fighters. You know, they're strict people with like a very strict bar for their fighters, but they're also very passionate about it. You know what I mean? They're very passionate. Everyone knows. Everyone who's seen them knows. And then also there's a bit of whining as well about how Khamzat Chimaev, how Sean Strickland rigged it against him. That maybe Trump was against them. So we're going to go through some of their reactions that I've compiled it together. This first guy is called Mohammed Hijab. He's very big in the Muslim community. You've probably seen him if you're in the Christian like YouTube channel space, because he likes to debate with a lot of Christians. He's a debate guy, you know what I mean? He used to be like a London gangster. He's got that thing about how the Muslim faith has turned him around. It's a good story. But this guy's got a bit more knowledge than like the casual fan. I think it's because he sat down with Faraz Sahabi. He sat down with him. I don't know why it's so hard to say that. But he sat down with him and he made a lot of good points about why it's not rigged, about like how wrestling, if you're an offensive wrestler, it's actually very draining on you. And if a guy defends your takedowns, because people have seen Khabib just take guys down, and they think that, oh yeah, just it's just that easy. When really, if someone defends your takedowns, and you're a heavier guy like Khamzat, even 185 pounds, it wears down on you. You can't just keep shooting and shooting over and over again. Anyway, let's get into Mohammed Hijab's reaction first of all, and you'll see as well. He's very in the Muslim community. He's very on Twitter, so you're gonna get a lot of their ideas or their reactions to this fight.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? I'm here somewhere in Eastern Europe, but I've got something to say because we just watched the fight, the Khamzat fight with Sean Strickland. A lot of people are speaking about it, and some people are even saying there's a fixed fight, right? Because we're seeing Khamzat, act in an uncharacteristic manner, in the second round in particular, where he kind of pulled guard. Essentially, he went down after trying a takedown, a double leg takedown. He went down,
And that did look weird with Khamzat Chimaev pulled guard. It did look weird. It did look weird, but yeah, but it's a bit weird that people always, when they talk about rigging fights, I've seen this a lot where they go, it looks like he was going to rig it, but then said, F this, I'm not going to rig it. Like, that's been a lot of the reactions, is that he was going to rig it, then said, actually, I'm just going to fight this guy. And I've seen that with a few rigging allegations. You know, Khamzat Chimaev, he did have COVID. So his gas tank is like probably 25% of what it would be before. If you've had a bad case of COVID, you don't recover. You just simply don't recover. So that case, so he probably Sean Strickland defended takedown. Then he felt very gassed. So that's why he flopped back to his back. Or Sean Strickland hit him with a punch because Sean Strickland did hit him with a big right hand. So maybe he got hit, shot, and then was like, "Ooh, I'm actually pretty rocked in," and limped back. But it does look weird if you're not taking any of that into account. If you're just like he's just a normal guy, and you don't really see if it's not a big punch, you don't think much of it.
on his back. And people are saying this is very uncharacteristic. Was it Trump that came in and basically gave him an ultimatum that if he doesn't give this to Strickland, who is a very pro-Trump individual, that that he's going to do such and such to him? I don't think any of that happened. I think what really happened was this: is that Strickland, for all of his nonsense, and we find him a despicable individual, a racist individual, an unacceptable individual, but for all of his nonsense, is a very formidable and experienced opponent. Okay, remember, he's had 37 professional MMA fights. He's been here 37 times before. Compare him.
Exactly, very very experienced. I think he's like 10-0 when he was like 20 or something like that. So like when he's barely went in came after his teens, he was 10-0 already. When Chael sort of met him, this is when Chael was at his peak. You already had the fights in the double digits. Like he's very experienced compared to Hamzat. He's been fighting for a long time. He's not just your average like run the mill fighter who's just been there like for like 5 years or like something like that, 3 years, 5 years. He's been in the UFC since I think the early 2000s, something like that. Like he's fought a lot of guys. He fought Camsat. No, he fought Kamaru Usman when he was like Kamaru Usman's come up. You know, before he's even champion, like he's had some sleepers there.
And with Khamzat Chimaev, who's had 15 professional MMA fights and only one amateur MMA fight, there's essentially double the amount of experience. And he's very good, and we've said this before when I was having a conversation with Faraz Zahabi, which you can see on Mohammed Hijab Encounters channel, which you can check out as a new channel that we put up. You can see that this was always a concern, that he's, you know, he can keep getting up and keep frustrating Khamzat. And everyone knows about, who does MMA, that the takedowns in the MMA game and the grappling exchanges are the most energy consuming aspect of MMA. And that's the problem, that's the trade-off that a lot of these kind of wrestling based MMA fighters have to make. And that's why a lot of them, who, you know, for example, Cejudo, etc., or even Romero as an example, right? These guys, although they're Olympic level MMA fight wrestlers, they'll come into the octagon and actually primarily strike. Justin Gaethje is another example of that, and there's many other examples of people who are.
Yeah, exactly. And it might seem a bit like too simple for a lot of you guys watching. Like, yeah, I already know this. But for a lot of people, this is you'd be surprised about at least 50% of people have been saying this is rigged, and that Khamzat is acting weird, or Khamzat is having a bad weight cut. Maybe even more than 50%. It's like, yeah, but like your Romero is a better wrestler than Khabib. He's a better wrestler than Khabib, but he never wrestled. Like very rarely, he'd shoot one takedown like once in a blue moon. He didn't want to wrestle because it gasses you out. It's a very good point. So we're getting to the salty stuff. They'll come after this, but this is good to watch.
Wrestlers who primarily strike, and the only reasonable excuse I can think for that is that they know their opponent knows that they know how to wrestle, and so they can do the defensive wrestling, and they don't want to expend that much energy in a 5-minute round over 5 rounds, so that's 25 minutes wrestling. So it's understandable that in the first round what happened was he overextended himself. He squeezed a lot on Strickland. He had an adrenaline dump. There was so much expectation on him, and what happened is that he sort of collapsed, and then he had to regain composure. That to me makes more sense than to say that it was fixed or that Trump had to play in this matter or something like this. Even though I would love to be able to to espouse this conspiracy theory myself, but the characteristics.
Exactly, he'd love to do that. He'd love to do that. But it just does. It makes more sense that Khamzat just gassed out. He went feed like not saying he went feeding himself, but he kind of had adrenaline dump that it was like a high stakes fight. It makes more sense than it was rigged.
Signs of a fixed fight were not there in this. That's the first point I want to make. The second point is this. Look, Khamzat Chimaev is a great fighter. He's a great wrestler. He's a great, in many ways, ambassador. For the Izzah of Islam, for the Izzah, for the dignity and for the strength of Islam. Okay, yes, he does things which are unbecoming and unintegrous, and sometimes it's like all of us do, right? And to be honest with you, the main thing is that with Sean Strickland, Sean Strickland called Khamzat's mother a whore. He mentions things about Chechnya. He mentions things about Islam. Actually, theologically, I have to say this: it's not acceptable to be nice to him. Okay, it's actually not acceptable to be nice to him from an Islamic perspective. Why?
This is interesting. They're saying it's actually haram. Is that the right word? That he's being nice to Sean Strickland. And there's been they wanted it to be like a Khabib versus Conor, like a mini version of that, where Khabib just won't, like you say Conor McGregor's name to Khabib, he just goes, no, don't mention that guy. Like, and they're saying it's theologically, he says it's against his religion. Like, see, we in the West, even if you're like irreligious, we are raised on our principle of forgiveness. Like we respect someone who forgives them. Like rest in the West, we look at that and go, oh, that's cool. That's cool that you forgive him, and they're all hugs and smiles. But in the East, is that they got the idea of like enemies. Like no, we don't forgive. We don't forgive. We don't forget. Like our favorite guys like Georges St. Pierre. Like a guy who's like respectful, bound all the time. They like people that are humble. That are people that are like humble to them. This is why you're seeing such a visceral like reaction. Because they're like, this guy insulted us, he insulted our religion. I think yeah, he did insult his religion. He insulted your mother, and then you're shaking hands with him before the fight's even started. and that's actually been that's been a big problem they've been having. But yeah, even Ariel Hawani was saying that he's I believe he grew up his life in Canada, but his parents immigrants, Jewish immigrants from Egypt, and he's on camera saying like, "Oh, like you're a coward, Sean, for even like like backstepping. We wanted to see after the fight you stand on business." Like these guys in like the East, and I guess there's like an Eastern principle. They ain't really buying all that.
Because even if he apologizes for it afterwards or he excuses it by saying, it's just business and I was selling a fight, and we don't forgive you, Sean Strickland, for that, I'm afraid, because you can't go that far and say, well, it's excused. No other community will accept it. We don't accept it. Yeah. So I don't like the fact that he was
I don't agree that no other community would accept it. I don't agree with that.
sort of overcompensating. However, I give concession to Khamzat. The reason why is because when you're in that state, before and after a fight, your adrenaline spikes, your dopamine spikes, your neurotransmitters, they fluctuate in such a way that most people would not understand. It's akin to, if not more severe than intoxication, way severe than intoxication.
And I agree. It's kind of like hate's very close to love. Understand? So when you're in a fight, you see people after a fight, they say the worst things to each other, but after they're hugging, like, a guy just knocks the other guy out, throws all like his effort into a punch, knocks the guy out, they're bleeding all over their face, then right after the fight, even in the middle of the rounds, touch each other's hands, like saying, "Oh, good job, man." After the guy just punched him so many times in the face and they're hugging, going, "Oh yeah, that was a good fight." Like like a fight, that level of a fight within the UFC and all that, when you fighting for like 15, 25 minutes, it's very close to like being friendly. It goes that off the edge because it's not like a bar fight, like a fighting score where you fight for 10 seconds, at best like 3 minutes. It's not like that. It's like the biggest level. It's like a bungee jump. This is like it's like crazy adrenaline. You couldn't even your whole life depends on winning the fight. Not like your ego may depend on winning the fight in like a bar, but your whole life, like your money, your family, money to feed your family. So it does. So I do get what he's saying. It's like you can't really hold it against him, but they criticize him and they have their reasons for that.
Intoxication, the highs, the lows, the feelings that you get from it. So if he at that moment decided to be sportsmanlike, it's not like he knew the theological intricacies of what was allowed and permissible or was not allowed and impermissible. Some people are saying, well, if that was Khabib, he wouldn't have done such and such. If that was Islam Makhachev, he wouldn't have. But this constant comparison between strong Islamic figures and sports people and stuff like that is actually what's destroying the Ummah. Okay, we need to show support to people. We need to give advice, constructive advice.
Okay, the Ummah, it means community, so their community. But yeah, like even Islam Makhachev, he's living in Khabib's shadow, and I don't like that. Like the guys, they started to figure out their style, like their heavy wrestling style. When Khabib came in, we never seen anything like that. Like we got told for ages, like Islam Makhachev, he gets all this crap about saying, "Oh, he doesn't even measure to Khabib." Khabib would have smashed that guy. We heard for years that Islam Makhachev was like a better version of Khabib. They said Khabib had the better wrestling and like top control and stuff, but Islam Makhachev had the better BJJ and the better striking. He's a more complete fighter, and we've seen Islam has that skill set to just maul people and just take people down, choke them out straight away. We've seen him against JDM, and he has that skill set to knock guys out. We seen in the Valkyrie match, he knocked them out. Khabib didn't have that skill set, so Islam's a more complete fighter. But you saw Dustin Poirier in his first fight. He just mauled on what Khabib did on him. He just thought about what Khabib did for years. I guarantee. Every time when he was like, "How could I have beat Khabib? That was the biggest fight of my life." And you saw against Islam in the second fight, he was getting up. And I think if Khabib fought Dustin Poirier again, even that Dustin Poirier is a bit more shot wounds, bit older. I think he would have had a bit more trouble. I think putting guys in the shadow of Khabib, I don't like it from our community as well, our whole community, but for their community especially, and also the way Khabib acts, like want him to be humble and tough and more guys and around. We saw Khamzat Chimaev maul loads of guys in a round. We seen him run through guys. He has that skill set, but guys are adapting. You have Sean Strickland, who's been in the UFC since very young, beat loads of fights, and he's been watching these guys, and he's been training with these guys. He trained with Khamzat. He trained with Khamzat for many training sessions, and the Khamzat used to beat him up on the ground, used to choke him. So Sean's going to be more adapted to that style. Who did Khabib train with? He trained with one team, and he never fought any of the guys on his team ever. You understand? So putting Khabib on Khabib, when he can take guys down, like Ala Quinta, he started using his jab, and he looked a bit tired. And in the third round against Conor McGregor, he lost the third round because Conor started, defending the takedowns, and it demoralizes you. Even Khabib, who has great cardio, amazing, no one doubts that. You start to go, oh my god, you got to strike a little bit here. He's defending my takedowns. I'm gonna gas out. So you can't keep comparing guys to Khabib. And Khabib, he only had 3 fights at top level, 4 fights. Can't compare them. And we saw with Peter Yan. Peter Yan, the first fight, Merab just ran through him, took him down, just kept shooting takedowns on him, grind him out. Then in the second fight, Yan started to adapt to that kind of wrestling style. What happened? He got him back. He dominated Merab. The sport is constantly evolving. Khabib retired in like 2019. Or was it 2020? Like 5-6 years ago? Ages ago. His fight with Conor was in 2018. It's 2008. 2018 is going to be 10 years ago in 2 years. That's ages ago in a sport. You can't keep comparing guys.
The fact is this: Khamzat, Khabib, and Islam Makhachev, whether we like it or not, have done more for the case of promoting Islam than a lot of du'at have. Okay, if not all of them, all the du'at. Because the fact is this: they are promoting Islam in a way that they're showing that it's okay. You can be a Muslim, you can be a sportsman, you can be relatable, you can be strong. These are things that we're doing, and there's no ready replacement for these guys, So you want to throw them away, like a lot of Muslim people now are attacking Khamzat Chimaev and saying he should have done this and he should have done that and we should throw him away. With all due respect, are you going to replace him, get into the octagon yourself? Could you have done a better job? Do you know about the intricacies of this? No. So what we need to do with our sports people who are not ashamed, of the Islamic symbols in Islam, then we should actually show them respect, and we should show them backing, we should back them. And everyone will lose. Every human being, Allah says that in the Quran, that these are the days that we will alternate between the people. The Sahaba had moments.
Very interesting, the way you say promote. They kind of look at it like promoting a business in a way. That's very interesting. You don't hear that with Christian fighters, do you? Like, oh yeah, we got, Bryce Mitchell. He promotes us, he brings the Bible in, he says it's cool to be a Christian. So that's very interesting, that is.
Where they weren't victorious, essentially in Uhud, that was a moment where they weren't victorious, okay? But what makes it worse, and the Quran says, is when we differ after that. Do not differ, because then you will fail and you become demoralized, okay? So that's the first lesson that we need to. We're not always going to win, but we need to know how to balance it out. We need to know how to show support to our guys, number one. And number two is that you're not going to find a replacement for these guys that are able to do it. We can constructively criticize what they're doing, but throwing them away essentially, saying, oh, they're finished, like I've seen online and stuff like that, is actually disgusting, to be honest. And as I said, he lost a split decision, an arguable split decision. As I said, the first round he definitely won. The second round, Strickland won. The other 3 rounds, frankly, you can make a very strong case that Khamzat won the fight, right? You can make the strong case that it was because it was American judges and he was at home and all these kind of things that he won the fight. He had more, dominance on the fence. He took him down a couple of times. Even his striking wasn't that bad. He landed some significant strikes.
I disagree. I think it was clear. But yeah, see, people in their community are wanting to chuck it away, say a nice finish, like a used toy. That's been their response. That's quite sad when you think about it. If you think you're think you Khamzat, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm the next Khabib. You know, I'm gonna be that next guy. He's like the icon of this stuff. And then like you lose, you don't look so good. You try and you try and make friends with the guy who's insulting you, like set an example, but just because you're a humble guy, and then they're like, you know, they just throw you off. It's because that's actually quite sad for Khamzat. That is. Yeah, I don't think he was rigged, and I don't think no, I obviously don't think it's rigged, but I don't think you can make any case Khamzat when I don't. I don't. I think you look at him getting a takedown in like the fifth round. That doesn't mean you win a fight. You know, and even when Khamzat was like he's like marching forward, eating jabs. At least he was catching Sherman jabs, but Sherman was blocking way more. He was blocking way more and landing way more. Khamzat was just marching, eating shots.
To the right hand, Strickland jabbed a lot, and he was doing defensive strikes. So you can make an argument. I'm not a judge. I'm not here to make these arguments. I can't speak about that. But what I can say is, it wasn't that bad of a loss. He didn't even get knocked out or submitted or finished or anything like that. So it wasn't that kind of a bad. It was a split decision loss. One of the three judges considered Khamzat to be victorious in that. Another thing I'll say is this: look, as Muslims, we also have to understand that good and bad things are going to happen to us in our life, okay? And this is for Khamzat as well. I've met Khamzat, I've wrestled with him, as people know. We raised a lot of money together in that wrestling match. I think £1 million actually, alhamdulillah. And he's a brilliant wrestler, he's an excellent athlete, and a good person, very humble, by the way. People don't know, Khamzat's actually humble, all right? This is, I'm not going to say performative, but he does this with certain things. But when you see him in the flesh, he's a very humble guy, man. You sit with him, he actually stood up when the sheikh came in. He has these mannerisms. Yeah, he's a good guy. But everybody needs to understand that there's going to be good.
So he has a bit of a different opinion because you sat down with him. He's raised some money with him. That's all good.
Moments and bad moments. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us this in the most beautiful hadith, my favorite hadith actually, which is the following: "Ajaban li amr al-mu'min, wondrous is the affair of the believer. Inna amrahu kullahu lahu khayrun, that all of his affair is good. In asabathu sarra shakar, if good things happen to him, he's thankful. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاء صَبَرَ وَشَكَرَ, and if bad things happen to him, he's patient and he's thankful as well." So we don't have this situation where we feel like bad things are going to happen to us. We've got to always look at the optimistic side. Our religion is a religion of optimism, okay? This is the best lesson that you can, for Khamzat actually, it's one of the best lessons. He was pushed to the limit. He was tested by a more experienced opponent. He's going to become a better.
Yes, that's good. Like life advice. That's what he is. Okay, let's look at the comments just quickly. That wasn't normal, Khamzat. You lost because you can't lose 21 kilos just before the fight and keep your power. It was his own problem not cutting weight properly then. But why would he be in that bad a shape? So they're making excuses for it. That means they still love him though if they're making excuses. I said no, definitely rigged. Bro, Khamzat needs to learn conditioning. All sports become only about money. Everything is ruined by money. Fix, bro. All that took only to go in and act like friends. To be honest, Khamzat is simply not disciplined when it comes to his weight cuts, so yeah, they're still against him. Okay, I talked too fast. I talked too fast and they still love him. Very strange fight. The striker wasn't there. Islam is a more all-rounded fighter. I agree, but you know, Khamzat looked like he bet against himself. He didn't though. He looked like he tried his heart out. Just because he doesn't run for the guy in like 10 seconds doesn't mean it's rigged. He fought his heart out. Most use 2 words by Khamzat. Most use 2 words is for many. US needs these wins after the spanking they endured in the Gulf. Basically keeping track of that. Was definitely scripted when it went to round 2, too long hugging. Are they that into fighting when they call that hugging? Like there was constant working together. On the first one, who calls out bad wrestling. I think MMA fans they call out bad striking matches like that. A kick of the fingers just like that. But when it's like bad wrestling, boredom wrestling, they go, oh, you're casual if you've enjoyed that. I'm the first to call that out, but this was constant scrambles almost. And it was constant throwing punches and stuff. Yeah, MMA Joey. And is MMA Joey like a Muslim? He seems like he is. He seems like he is. I think he's from is he a New Yorker? Or is he from like New Jersey? I don't know anything about New Jersey except like Jersey Shore and the South Park episode but I think he's from New Jersey. He looks like the type of guy to say, it's just a Jersey thing. I think he's from New Jersey. I feel that. He acts like that. You know, even if you don't know anything about New Jersey, he acts like he's from New Jersey. Like his opinion is just, oh my god, how could you? Because he's been crashing out on Twitter, and X. Like it makes me nervous just looking at his tweets because I guess like a day ago when I was going to make this video, you had like one tweet, but now I come back to it. He's made so many tweets. He's made like 20 tweets. It's like calling out people saying, "Oh yeah, Islamophobes" and stuff like that. Let's look at this reaction by him. I'm pretty sure he is a Muslim because I was thinking at first I was going, "Oh, that's pretty cool that he's like a white American and he's like defending these guys." I was thinking that's pretty cool when he's going after like Guru and stuff, like going out his way to defend these guys. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like it's not his community, but he defends them. But now he's saying it's rigged. He's saying Khamzat was he's giving all the excuses, saying Khamzat he had a bad weight cut. He's saying Sean Strickland sucked.
Strickland didn't do anything all fight. Oh, jab from Chimaev, stumbles Strickland backwards. Let's go. 4-1 Chimaev. He outstruck him for 4 rounds.
4-1 Chimaev. So we only gave him the second round. I think you gotta be so delusional to say 4-1 because you'd say 3-2, wouldn't you? You say 3-2, you wouldn't say 4-1. Sean Strickland never won 2 rounds.
He outstruck him for 4 rounds.
And this guy's like a YouTuber. He's supposed to know his stuff. Like, terrible.
Allahu Akbar. Outstruck him in a jab fest.
He's saying Allahu Akbar.
Beat him in the 5th round. Clear 4-1 Chimaev. Strickland's going like this. It's the clearest 4-1 I've ever seen. There's no way they rob him. It's not possible. You can only give Strickland round 2. And that's a clear win for Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev went in there and jabbed Strickland to death. Holy shit. There's no way they even rob him. It's a clear decision. If they rob him, I'll lose my mind. It's clear.
There's no way a robbery is like clear. That's just so stupid, man.
4-1. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision. It's split. They robbed him. They brutally robbed him. It was 4-1. That's a brutal robbery. That's a brutal robbery. That's literally a brutal robbery. There's no way. He lost 4-1. Bare minimum 3-2. That's legitimately a robbery. That's the biggest robbery I've ever seen. That's crazy. They robbed him. They legit robbed. That's a clear as day robbery. How did he lose 1-4-5? In what universe? I mean, that's bullshit, man. That was a straight up rigged fight. That's a straight up rigged fight. I can't believe it. I'm done with the sport. If you thought Strickland won 1-4-5, you're literally fucking delusional. Strickland didn't do anything all fight. Fought like a bitch. I don't care what anyone says. It's crazy. The sport.
He fought like a bitch when he was getting up from takedowns off Khamzat. He's getting up from takedowns. Khamzat couldn't keep him down almost. And he fought like a bitch.
Sport's done. I'm actually done with the sport. I'm legit done with the sport. It's a straight up robbery. Khamzat Chimaev is clearly the better fighter. Don't care what anyone says. That was one of the worst robberies I've ever seen in my life. Strickland didn't do it.
Oh, this is making me nauseous. Why did I choose him, Joey? Then everyone's called him so. Almost, nobody had a 4-1. Not even for Strickland. It was not. I think it was pretty clear 3-2. He said this guy is all biased because he's Muslim, so he must be. Yeah, come on, get out of here. I wouldn't score a fight for a guy just because he's Christian or because I like him better. It doesn't make any sense. So is all his videos defending these guys just been because of his religion? And all like hyping up these guys and saying, "Oh, 4-1, the biggest rob you ever seen." Is that all because your religion? Let's see his tweets now. Okay. What the hell, Joey? Imagine losing your middleweight title and demanding a rematch, acting like you get to dictate what country the fight happens in as a challenger. He's quote tweeting Sean Strickland's tweets from 2024. I've never been more satisfied with an outcome to a fight than Khamzat versus Strickland. The dead corpse of Khamzat walked on Strickland and out-jabbed him, winning 4-1 only for Strickland to get a Robbie decision, and his fans copes and makes a bunch. Who's coping when it's not cope when you win the fight? Khamzat had a horrible. Khamzat looked horrible on the scales. He definitely had a tough weight cut. That's fair enough to say. If people were saying that, it's fair enough to say. Yeah, so he had a bad weight cut, and they went, "Oh no, he's fine." That's fair enough to say. It's actually insane the amount of hoops these weird incels would jump through to hate on Muslim fighters. They all regurgitate the same fake narratives. We had to stop for an hour because his health wouldn't allow us to continue, but then we managed to finish it. I think most people are just. I get him, a guru. I get with him, but most people are just saying this is embarrassing. They're just saying but they're not even going off the religious aspect. I can't go through all his tweets. These Khamzat haters are legit brain dead. Yeah, I can't read anymore of that. You can go look at his Twitter. I was there when he was like 2 tweets and he's made 20 and he's about saying the same stuff. He's just so salty. That really annoys me with MMA Joey. I thought he was like a sensible YouTuber. Like I saw him on YouTube, I was like, oh, look, a sensible guy. Oh, like he sticks up for the Islamic crowd, even though he's not one. But now I see that he's actually a bit like I guess like MMA YouTuber thing to like troll the fans and stuff like that. I don't know. Anyway, this post, it also shows on Twitter is like my main source because this is where they all post. This is where Khamzat. He's just explaining. He has to explain himself why. He has to explain himself why he said why he's not like angry at the guy afterwards and he's like shook the guy's hand. Let's see what Khamzat said quickly.
Assalamu alaikum veri. Del resul sama gettincan dasi do veri. Ava sagattiash tukuba. ويقرر ذات موضع خاصة المشبوه والبدال يزندوا ترينو بشيرة وموتيواتي وشو ويبويس عدق.
You feel sad for the guy because it's his first loss. He's never felt anything like this before.
لاشتو ويدو أتا همش اسكانتو ديتن همش حقوق دوت همش ديتن تشوتي حشت كي كوندلا pojďte hondelám. Idol that så jag känner ju det här så jag tycker jag ska ju det lätt om det. Det är ju lätt att kicha lätt det så det är väl lätt att ju det lätt. Och behandlina och alla är den ju om det. Jag får kanske för börja med jag kvart och allt han inte är väl inte är väl så jag vet inte så går det så går. Assalamu alaikum veri.
Yeah, like they had a 25-minute fight. He put his hand out. He said, "Hey man, we're cool now." And he went, "Hey man, we're cool." Well, the other fight, even though Khamzat was like shaking his hand before the fight, that's because he's just probably excited. They're excited. They had a good fight. And you go to the comments. People saying Khabib and Islam doesn't forgive because people don't even ask for forgiveness, and that's the difference. For example, Dustin said, "Never effort to Islam." By the way, Islam for that doesn't really mean much. Doesn't really mean much. Khamzat is a complete disgrace to Muslims. His career is over from here. Khabib or Islam would have never forgive Strickland after the numerous times he disrespected the Quran. A complete disgrace. His career is over from here. Khabib or Islam would have never forgiven. That's why Mohammed Hijab, he had to do that big speech. Like explain to people, like, look, this is good for us. These guys are good for us. You're not going to be Khamzat. You're not going to be Khabib. You probably don't train. You're probably not going to be in UFC. Like most of you, just going to be on Twitter. Most of you are going to just work normal jobs. He's promoting it for us. That's what he's trying to say. He's like, guys, he's promoting it for us. Why are we turning against him? But they just turn against him in droves. There is one team that doesn't forgive these type of words. It shows Khabib beat up the guy. Hey man, it shows him. To me, it shows emotional maturity from Khamzat. It shows humbleness. Respect to Khamzat said how it was. If someone asks forgiveness, why not accept it? If Jesus forgives us for the bad we do. See, this is the Western view of it. If Jesus forgives us, and God's supposed to be forgiving us, why can't we forgive someone who's like just said something bad? Sean's not killed his family. He's not killed anyone, from my perspective anyway. He never killed your family members. Like if you punch his mum in the face, then Khamzat was going, I try and shake his hand. Like I see. As a sensitive person, I find this unacceptable. Where is the humanity? He should have hate for the remainder of his life. Every waking moment he has should be filled with hate and sorrow. That would have been sense if the forgiveness was after his apology. You, Khamzat Chimaev, was already willing to touch gloves and saying, I love you, man, during the fight. Yeah, because he's just excited. Khamzat seems like a guy who just really loves fighting. That is a thing, though, with Khamzat. That is a thing, though. He was shaking hands and saying, before Sean said sorry. Yeah, that's true. And Khamzat's having to explain himself now. Khamzat probably doesn't even remember what happened in the fight. He probably doesn't even know. It's probably just sort of blurred to him. That's probably like the best excuse he got. But if you forgive the man for he says sorry, that's good, isn't it? Realistically, we're all human. Everyone transgresses. We all fall into sin and error. Most of us wrong people and wrong ourselves. And as Muslims, we want to forgive. We want Allah to forgive us. After all, so we should forgive. He seems like more of a Western guy then. The most common Sahih English is the merciful I show mercy. So it is actually in their book, isn't it? It's actually in their book. I don't understand why that's rare though. I don't understand. Maybe just because he lost and people are embarrassed. Maybe they're like a bit embarrassed, so they're like saying, "Oh yeah," because they backed this guy. I don't know.